The morning was cold, gray, and unforgiving. Rain trickled down from a sky that seemed to have forgotten the meaning of mercy. On the corner of Maple and 3rd, a man in tattered clothes, his face hidden beneath a wall cap, stood silently watching a small cafe tilde copyright across the street. Elena's place. His hands trembled, not from the chill, but from the anticipation of what he was about to do. That man was Senator John Kennedy, but today, no one would recognize him. Today, he wasn't the senator. He was just another soul life had seemingly forgotten. It all began a week earlier, after a viral video caught Kennedy's attention. In it, a cafe tilde copyright owner was seen throwing out a homeless man who had quietly asked for a glass of water. The man's eyes had been full of sadness and shame. The incident haunted Kennedy. "We talk about policy and poverty," he said in his office, pacing back and forth, "but we don't feel it. We legislate compassion, but we don't live it." His staff looked puzzled when he told them his plan A to disguise himself as a homeless man and see, firsthand, how people treated those who had nothing. That morning, he donned old jeans, a ragged jacket, and dirt-smudged boots. A makeup artist helped him look convincingly weathered. He left his phone, wallet, and security detail behind. What he carried instead was a folded $5 bill and a quiet determination to test the true heart of humanity. The cafe tilde copyright he chose was no coincidence. Lena's place had been praised for its charm, its welcoming atmosphere, and its community spirit. But Kennedy wanted to see if that spirit extended to those who couldn't afford a latte or a muffin. He stepped inside, and the warm smell of coffee and baked bread enveloped him. For a moment, he almost forgot he was undercover. The cafe tilde copyright was bustling, students typing on laptops, businessmen on calls, mothers chatting by the window. Kennedy approached the counter, his voice trembling just enough to sound desperate. "Ma'am," he said to the young woman behind the register, "I don't mean to bother you. A broken bar. Could I maybe get a cup of hot coffee? I only have $1." The cashier's eyes darted to his clothes, then to her manager standing nearby. The manager, a tall man with a pristine apron, frowned. "We're not a shelter," he said sharply. "If you can't pay, you can't stay. Rules are rules." The words hit Kennedy like a slap. He tried again, gently. "Sir, I understand a broken bar. I just Please leave," the man interrupted, his tone colder this time. The chatter in the cafe tilde copyright quieted. People looked, then quickly looked away, pretending not to see the humiliation unfolding. Kennedy lowered his head and turned toward the door. But before he could leave, a soft voice called from one of the corner tables. "Excuse me, sir," it said. A woman in her early 40s stood up. A waitress, judging by her apron. "You can sit here." She motioned to an empty chair near her section. "Give me a minute. I'll get you something warm." Kennedy froze. The manager looked furious. "Lena," he barked, "don't encourage these." But she ignored him. She poured a cup of coffee, placed a butter roll on a plate, and carried them to Kennedy's table. "It's on me," she said softly, placing the plate in front of him. "Eat while it's hot." He looked up at her, genuinely moved. "Ma'am, you don't have to." "I know," she smiled, "but everyone deserves kindness, sir, especially on a cold morning." The cafe tilde copyright murmured with whispers. Some customers frowned, others smiled shyly. But Lena didn't care about the audience. She sat beside him for a moment and said, "My brother used to live on the streets. He was a good man who fell on hard times. I swore I'd never turn away someone who reminded me of him." Kennedy felt a lump form in his throat. He wanted to tell her who he was, to thank her not just as a man but as a representative of millions who needed someone like her. But he didn't, not yet. After finishing his coffee, he stood, placed the crumpled $5 bill on the counter, and quietly left. The next day, news broke across social media. Senator John Kennedy, disguised as homeless man, tests cafe tilde copyright as compassion. Hidden cameras discreetly arranged by his team had captured everything: the rude manager, the silence of the patrons, and most importantly, Lena's simple act of kindness. When the truth came out, the internet exploded. The cafe tilde copyright owner apologized publicly, fired the manager, and offered Lena a promotion. But that wasn't what mattered most. Kennedy returned to the cafe tilde copyright, this time as himself, dressed in his familiar suit and tie. Cameras followed as he walked in, the bell chiming above the door. Lena was wiping down a table when she looked up and froze. "Senator Kennedy?" she stammered, recognizing him from television. He smiled warmly. "Lena," he said, "you didn't serve a senator yesterday. You served a man in need. And you reminded all of us what compassion looks like when no one's watching." She blinked back tears. "I just did what anyone should do." Kennedy shook his head. "No, ma'am. You did what too many won't do." Then he turned to the cameras. "This isn't about coffee. It's about character. We can build policies to feed the hungry, but until we build hearts that see them, we'll never fix what's broken." Lena's place became a symbol of kindness after that day. People from across the state sent donations, letters, and messages of gratitude. And Lena herself, a humble, genuine, and unchanged, continued serving coffee with the same quiet compassion that had changed a senator's heart. In his next speech to Congress, Kennedy spoke about that morning. "I wore the clothes of the forgotten," he said. "I saw how invisible a man can become when he looks like he has nothing to offer. But one woman saw me not as a burden, but as a human being." If one act of kindness can restore hope to a stranger, imagine what a nation full of kindness could do. The chamber fell silent. Some called it one of the most heartfelt speeches of his career. But Kennedy didn't care about the applause. He only cared that somewhere, in a small cafe tilde copyright on Maple Street, a woman named Lena was still pouring coffee and proving that decency doesn't need an audience. And as for that homeless disguise, Kennedy kept it, not as a costume, but as a reminder that the soul of America isn't found in its buildings, laws, or wealth. It's found in the quiet kindness of people like Lena, who serve without judgment and love without reason. Because sometimes, the smallest cup of coffee holds the greatest lesson of all.